Hey guys, I'm sorry for the delay. This video was actually supposed to drop last week, but I got a little too busy prepping for Cedh 8K. And while we didn't win, we did have a blast, and I think did overall well. Also, don't forget to check out the shop where I'm launching new sweatshirts featuring all your favorite Ravniking guilds. Well, I'm still working on getting all of them finished, but they are super sweet and very holographic. So come check it out. But starting us off is Griffin on Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, aiming to use your commander's ability to instant speed tutor up either combos or silver bullets. Next up is Mike on Kinnan, and what can I say that people don't already know? Kinnan makes way too much mana, lets you sit back on activations for big dumb boys, and has the ever-looming threat of just combo killing the table out. In the third spot is Hidden on Rielle. This is an Is It Discard Matters deck, letting you net positive on cards such as Faithless Looting to dig deep and assemble an Underworld Breach combo. And bringing up the rear is Noah on Inalla. You honestly need to be a wizard to pilot this list. It's an intricate Grixis combo list, aiming for Spellseeker loops.
Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board.
Noah has a pregame action, as he puts a Gemstone Caverns into play, exiling a Finale of Promise. Griffin has a Plateau into a Mox Diamond. He discards a Windswept Heath and taps out for an Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Mike on his turn cracks a Polluted Delta for a Trop, shortcutting as he casts the Llanowar Elves into a Lotus Petal. Hidden has a Polluted Delta, this time cracking it for Volk, as he then exiles a Simian Spirit Guide to help cast an Arcane Signet. Noah plays out a Flooded Strand and casts a turn 1 Mystic Remora. He then follows it up by cracking a Fetch for an Underground Sea, and to save time, casts an Imperial Seal. He finds a card to the top as Griffin at end step activates the Cauldron to eat Hidden's land out of grave. Griffin plays and cracks a Flooded Strand for a Tropical Island, tapping 3 for a Faebearer Elder. Mike has a Rejuvenating Springs his land, and for 2 casts his Commander Kinnan, following that up with a Bloom Tender. He then cracks his Petal for 2 green and casts an Armored Scrap Gorger. Hidden has a Scalding Tarn and bolts himself for an untapped Steam Vents, tapping 2 for a Talisman of Creativity. This gives a card to Noah, as Hidden then ends his turn with a Ledger Shredder. Noah untaps and pays for his fish. Keeping his turn short, he plays out a tapped Watery Grave, with Griffin at his end step exiling another one of Hidden's lands. Griffin plays out an Ancient Tomb and takes 2 to cast his Commander Sisay, following that up with a Cutsoul. This triggers the Ledger Shredder to have Hidden connive away a recall, but the cat resolves. Mike plays out a Manamo as land, and then starts tapping his creatures as he convokes out a Court of Calling, where X equals 5. Noah draws, but the Cord resolves, getting Mike a Seedborn Muse. Hidden and Mike both untap, with Hidden playing out an island, and while it's not an answer to the Muse, he casts a Vampire's Vengeance. Noah draws, with Mike spinning Kinnan in response. Mike finds an Enduring Vitality, which lets Mike tap his creatures for mana and spin Kinnan once again, this time hitting a Consecrated Sphinx. And while Hidden does wipe away the board of a few creatures, it is not looking good for the table. Noah and Mike will then both untap, with Noah letting his fish go. But still in upkeep, Noah will cast a Sink into Stupor on the Sphinx. He then draws for turn and plays out a Bloodstained Mire before handing it over, with Griffin at his end step activating his Cauldron to try and exile Mike's Bloom Tender, with Mike in response pongifying Cutsoul and then sniping the creature with his Scrap Gorger. Unfortunately, this flusters Griffin, as he then on his turn immediately tries to exile his own Elder, but with a Seedborn, Mike's Scrap Gorger untaps and exiles that as well. Griffin will then play out and crack an Arid Mesa, with Noah saving time, cracking his Bloodstained Mire as well for Volcanic. Griffin grabs out a Scrubland, but passes it there. Mike plays out an Emergence Zone as land and recasts Kinnan, with Hidden saying no this time with a strict serenade. Mike gets a bird and ends his turn tapping his Scrap Gorger to exile a card out of Hidden's graveyard. Hidden starts off his turn with his commander Rielle, following that up with a Ragavan. This is his second spell, as he connives away a Faithless Looting and triggers Rielle to draw as well. He then bolts himself with an untapped Seagate Reborn and heads to combat, sending 3 at Mike, with Mike at end step exiling his Faithless Looting. Noah on his turn slams down a Rhystic Study, with Griffin at end step activating Sisay to grab out a Ragavan. Griffin starts out his turn with combat, sending his Ragavan at Noah for 2, exiling a Misty off the top and making a treasure, with him on his second main casting a Marvin. He gives Noah a card and passes the turn. Mike untaps and has nothing better to do than redeploy Kinnan again. Noah will draw, but Mike hands the turn over after that, with Noah at end step slaughter pacting Kinnan. Hidden starts off with combat and sends his Ragavan at Noah, who exiles another land off the top, with Hidden on his second main casting the One Ring. He gives a card to Noah, gains protection, and then taps the ring to draw. But with that on the stack, Mike responds by cracking his Emergence Zone to flash in a clever Impersonator. He wants to keep the Scrap Gorger up for Griffin as Noah draws, with Hidden responding with a Mana Drain. Noah will draw another, with Hidden conniving away a Rhystic off the Ledger Shredder, with the Impersonator getting countered and Hidden finally getting a draw off his One Ring. Noah heads to his turn, but passes it there, as Griffin on end step activates Sisay, to which Hidden lightning bolts Sisay. Noah will draw off Rhystic, but the commander is taken out, with Griffin searching out a Lotho, and Noah having to discard due to hand size. Griffin untaps and recasts Sisay. He pays for Rhystic and then heads to combat, sending Ragavan at Noah, who exiles another land, with Mike at his end step though worldly tutoring. He will pay the 1 and finds a Phyrexian Metamorph to put on top. Mike draws it for turn and casts the clone. He will pay the 1 this time, and with the surprise save though, Griffin responds by pitching a Flusterstorm to a Force of Will to stop Mike from getting his One Ring. Noah will draw off this, as Mike hands the turn over after that. Hidden takes 1 off his ring, and then gains 4 colors off his Mana Drain. He uses 2 of it on a Curse Totem, paying the 1, with Mike responding by activating his Scrap Gorger to try and exile Griffin's Cutsoul. But for once, Griffin ends up on top, as he uses his Cauldron to get the creature instead, giving the counter to Sisay. Hidden will then tap his One Ring to draw 2, and plays out a Dak Fade-In. Griffin will get a treasure off Lotho, with Hidden using the last of his floating to pay for the Rhystic, and then connive away an island off his Shredder. This will then trigger Rielle to draw him a card, with the Planeswalker then resolving. Hidden then downticks the Walker to steal Griffin's Soul Cauldron. He then plays out a Manamo as land for turn and moves to combat, sending Ragavan once again at Noah, who exiles another land off the top. Noah untaps and once again heads to discard. He discards a Mystical Tutor and a Scholar of Ages. Griffin then untaps, but in his upkeep, Noah casts a Shallow Grave. Hidden will respond by untapping and then retapping his One Ring to draw 3, although he doesn't find an answer in the card he drew. He does though realize that Mike can untap his stolen Agathas with his Manamo instead. Although in response, Noah fires off a Psych Rift on the Cauldron, triggering Lotho and Ledger Shredder. Hidden will respond to the Connive trigger with the Tolarian Winds. Noah draws, and Hidden pitches 4 to draw 4, and then trigger Rielle to draw an additional 4. Hidden then fires off a Fierce on the Psych and gives Noah another card. This is also his second spell for turn, as Hidden then actually connives away at Gemstone Caverns. Griffin makes another treasure, the Psych is countered, and Hidden then connives off his original trigger. He discards a Rite of Flame, and then gets his Cauldron untapped, letting him tap it to exile the Scholar and give a counter to Rielle. Noah then revives a Vidalcan Aether Mage, and while there aren't any slivers, at least now he has a blocker for Ragavan. Griffin then finally gets to draw his card for turn and casts a Soul Ring. He pays the 1 and follows it up with an Emil the Blessed. He pays the 1 and gains his treasure back off Lotho, giving Hidden another Connive as well, to which he discards a Lotus Petal, with Griffin then ending his turn there. Mike heads to his turn and casts a Simic Signet. He pays for Rhystic and then turns his Scrap Gorger sideways at Noah, exiling a Brain Freeze from Hidden's graveyard. Hidden takes 3 off his One Ring and plays out an island as land for turn. Hidden then upticks stack to draw 2, discard 2, discarding a Cephalid Coliseum and a Lonely Sandbar. This triggers 2 more cards from Rielle, with Hidden still not finding what he wants. He then taps to draw 4 off his One Ring, and he then casts a Go for Blood to have his bird fight Sisay. He pays for Rhystic, and Sisay is punched out. Ragavan then heads to combat, hitting Noah, who exiles an Entomb off the top, with Hidden then ending his turn with a Mox Amber into a Pitch-cast Pyrokinesis. He exiles a red Elemental Blast to deal 4 to the Seedborn, with him paying the 1, giving Griffin a treasure off Lotho, and conniving another card away. He discards a land, and truly then ends his turn with a Mystic Remora, giving a card to Noah, and only discarding a Fiery Islet due to hand size. Noah has a Spire of Industry as land, and passes. Griffin untaps and casts a Noble Hierarch, paying the 1.
I will kill it.
He has no other attacks.
I will kill it.
Why?
But I want to save my Bowmaster for a better time. Like, use that extra point of damage. When Steve taps his fucking One Ring. We need to kill Rielle. I'll show you the Bowmaster.
Then why don't you just save it anyways? To a no.
Alright. I'd like to cast a Bowmaster.
But Bowmasters is not a card Hidden wants to see, as he forces it, exiling a Misdirection. He pays the 1 with Noah firing off a Fluster for 4. This triggers Lotho, Ledger Shredder, and Remora, with Hidden drawing off the fish and then conniving away a Soul Ring to draw another card off Rielle, with Hidden then firing back with a Fluster of his own. But Noah has been stocking up cards as he casts a Pact of Negation, targeting the original force. Hidden draws and then casts a Deflecting Swat, targeting the Pact. Noah draws and then casts a Mindbreak Trap. Hidden draws and responds with a Pyro on the Mindbreak. Noah draws, but finally is run out of answers. As the Pyro takes out the Mindbreak, the SWAT has his pack take out his own Bowmasters, with the rest fizzling after that. And to add all of that on top of it, he's still in combat, as he takes 2 off Ragavan and exiles a Grim Tutor, which is something Griffin actually wants, as he casts the card. He gives Noah and Hidden a draw, although there should be a Lotho trigger and a Ledger Shredder trigger as well here. Griffin then finds a card, and he then channels out a Beseiju on the Curse Totem, as Hidden then finds an island off the search. Griffin's creatures can now use their activated ability, as he recasts his commander. Noah draws, with Mike at end step tapping his Scrap Gorger to exile a Fluster out of Hidden's graveyard. Mike then untaps and taps out to cast his Sphinx. He exiles a red Elemental Blast out of Hidden's graveyard, with there being a Rhystic trigger. But in response, Hidden untaps his One Ring with Manamo and draws 5. Noah will then draw, but the Sphinx resolves. Hidden then untaps and takes 5, but still in his upkeep, Hidden will channel out an Otawaro on the Sphinx. He then draws for turn and taps his ring to draw 6, although he's still looking for something as he gambles. He pays the 1 and finds and randomly discards a Firestorm to draw him an extra card off Rielle, with him then following that up by tapping his Soul Cauldron to exile Mike's Llanowar Elf to put a counter on his Ragavan. This will then help him cast his tutored Underworld Breach. And along with a Lion's Eye Diamond, he can cycle that a few times for mana to let him gamble for a Twin Flame. And along with the Dual Caster, make infinite attackers to win hit in the game.
Game review. Well darn, I wish all my games went that well. I think overall my path to victory was definitely paved by the fact that we know how scary Kinnan really is, and spent a lot shutting him down. It definitely played into my favor when Griffin and Mike had to fight over the graveyards due to Agatha's, which let it not only stay stocked up, but also gave me more time with my One Ring, which ultimately let me parry my opponents in card advantage. Thanks to everyone that joined for the game. And before everyone leaves, I want to thank our special Patreon members, Slyfox and Holy Septic, for the support of the channel, along with all of our other Patreon supporters as well. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.